Hey Burrowheads, today we're spinning the wheel to decide our fate. We're gonna whip up 6 incredible old fashions, all with a secret ingredient our judges will never see coming.
What are you saying?
I think
Apple pie.
6 cocktails, 3 judges, 1 winner, and hopefully 0 disasters. Let's make some old fashions.
The old-fashioned cocktail has been around since the early 1800s and is considered by many historians to be one of the first, if not the first, cocktail invented. Now, as more people started experimenting with cocktail recipes, traditionalists started asking for a cocktail in the old-fashioned style, which is a spirit, sugar, water, and bitters. Simple and elegant.
There's a misconception that an old fashioned has to be made with whiskey, but that's not the case. Since bourbon and whiskey was America's favorite spirit in the 1800s, it became most commonly requested. But really, when patrons requested an old fashioned, they were asking for a style of cocktail, regardless of the specific spirit in it.
To prove how versatile old fashions can be, we have this nifty little wheel that has all sorts of crazy ingredients. We have no clue what we're making, but some of these options have me pretty worried.
Yeah, some of them are very interesting, and the big twist is at the end when we make these cocktails, we're gonna have to present them to judges, and the judges must also guess what the secret ingredient is in there. So it's gonna be tricky for us to put that secret ingredient in there, not be too overpowering that the drink is terrible, but not too subtle that they can't taste it. So we really have to get this right.
So our 3 judges are good friends of ours, each with varying degrees of expertise when it comes to whiskeys and old fashions in general. So first up we have Brandon, one of my good buddies, and he loves to make cocktails. So I thought it would be only natural for him to come over here and judge us on these old fashions.
For our second judge, Vanessa. She's a big-time real estate developer here in Austin, Texas, and she is also a huge fan of old fashions.
And finally, we have Carrie. Now, Carrie is not a fan of old fashions, so I'm very curious to see how we end up winning her over.
Yeah, challenge accepted. There you have it. Those are our 3 judges. They'll be judging all of our drinks tonight, and we can't wait to see what they say about us.
So let the chaos begin. Man, the ingredients here are tough.
Oh man. See what you get.
Oh! Can I admit something right now?
Please.
I don't think I have ever made a whiskey cocktail with wine as well. I just don't think that the flavors go well together. This is gonna be a tough one. Oh. No!
No, please keep going. Oh no.
Yes.
I hope our judges like it because I hate ginger.
That is funny. See, I like ginger.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really cool to add ginger to an old fashioned and see how it all plays out. But the fact that I know you and I know that you don't like ginger and to you ginger tastes like soap makes this so rewarding. I think that you have an easier one, but because of your challenges, I think that you're gonna have a harder time.
I would gladly switch with you.
Would you?
I would, but I'm not.
Damn it! Honestly, I think this is one of the worst ingredients on this entire list. Wine has a tendency to clash with the flavors of whiskey, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with this thing. My best bet is to use a red wine like Merlot, which tends to be more full-bodied and should pair better with whiskey. I expect Merlot to go nicely with a smoky bourbon, so I'm gonna use my Woodford Reserve Double Oak as my spirit. To start, I need to make a red wine syrup. I combine 1/4 cup of Merlot and 1/4 cup of white sugar in a saucepan until it boils. I add a cinnamon stick to cut the acidity from the wine a little bit and let it sit for about an hour. Once that's done, I can make my old fashioned, which I will call the Crimson Whisper. I'm pouring wine into whiskey like I'm about to ruin Thanksgiving. But you know what? I think I invented something beautiful. Combine 2 ounces of whiskey, 1/4 ounce of the red wine simple syrup that we just made, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, add some ice, stir for about 30 seconds, and strain over a rocks glass. You can use any garnish you'd like, but since we can't give it away for the judges, I'm gonna use a simple orange peel. So this is my Crimson Whisper, and I cannot wait for the judges to try it.
So right now I'm thinking, what the hell pairs well with body wash? And how the hell can I make a drink out of it? Ginger has this natural way of dominating a drink, kind of like Eddie in a conversation. But if I get the balance right, it's game over. I just need to find some way to incorporate it without being overpowering. And I think I know a way to do that. I'm gonna make a ginger syrup. All we need is a cup of sugar, one little ginger root here that we're gonna cut up into slices, and a half cup of water. I'm gonna put all that in the pan, and we're gonna heat it up until it boils, until the sugar dissolves into the water, and then let it steep for 30 minutes. All right, now to put this drink together. I needed to pick something that had enough backbone to handle the ginger without getting drowned, and preferably something in the 95 to 110 proof range. So I'm gonna go with 2 ounces of the Middle West Dark Pumpernickel Rye. This one should pair beautifully with the ginger with its deep spice, toasted grain, and dark fruit notes. So from here, we're gonna add a 1/4 ounce of the ginger syrup that we just made. Oh, we're also gonna throw in 3 dashes of ginger bitters. We're gonna add just a bit of ice to this mixing glass. So we're gonna mix this for about 20 seconds or so. Now we're just gonna strain this over a beautiful ice cube in this rocks glass. For a final touch, we're just gonna grab a little orange peel, express it over the drink, and put it in as a garnish. And there you go. We got our ginger old fashioned.
So first on the list is Crimson Whisper, a very unique spin on an old fashioned. This cocktail should please even the prudest bachelorette parties with its familiar fruity flavors.
I actually
like
really
it.
like it,
I
yeah,
like
and I'm
it.
not a bourbon person.
I like it. I was like, am I getting banana right now?
Banana.
I would finish this drink, I would not pass it off.
Yeah, I would give it I'd probably like a high B, like an 89.
I mean, I feel like there's maybe a hint of red in it, so I don't know, I'm kind of leaning toward cherry now.
So the secret ingredient is red wine.
Interesting. So there's red.
So there
wine
is
added
red in
this.
here.
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
know why, but when you let it all the way to the very end, there's just like this subtly caramely, like, but I don't know. At first I was like banana, and then I was like caramel, but that was good. That was really
really
good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
For my first drink, I'm gonna call this one the Zinger. It's an old fashioned with a little extra edge that might make you think twice about what it is.
It's strong. I was thinking something very citrusy at first. It's really coming out the nose. Kind of sits on your tongue like
So, yeah.
like Fireball.
Yeah.
I'm picking up on that as well, and I just got through getting hungover from Fireball. But I actually do like it because I do like heat in my drinks. Like, I like the spicy margarita.
I like spicy margaritas.
Yeah, I like stuff that has some heat. As somebody who drinks old fashioned regularly, I don't mind this drink at all, and I like the heat.
There you go.
The secret ingredient is ginger.
Ginger, that's the
But
spice.
that's why it burns.
That's
Yeah, round 1. Eddie is the winner.
Woo!
All right, my turn again. Wait. I'm not a spicy food guy.
Wow.
I don't like spicy food, so this is gonna be a challenge for me. I don't know how this is gonna work out.
I really want to be on The Price is Right now.
Right? This feels like you're in one of those shows.
Okay, not too bad, not terrible.
It's not bad, but I mean, to get the flavor of the herb, I think it's gonna be challenging.
Yeah, I mean, rosemary can be very overpowering. There's definitely some things I have in mind that I can do with the rosemary to step it up a notch.
Considering that Ryan just made a spicy cocktail, I have to make sure that my old fashioned tastes completely different. Luckily, I have a bottle of Tanteo Jalapeno Tequila, which is a Blanco tequila infused with real jalapeno peppers. It has a strong herbal taste that you'd expect from jalapeno peppers, and the right amount of kick to differentiate it from typical old fashions. Now my goal here is to push the judges' comfort zone just a little bit with this cocktail and get them feeling good in the process. I start the drink by lightly muddling a couple of jalapeno slices. You don't want to muddle too much, otherwise you'll have a vegetal mess in your drink. Afterwards, I'm using 1.5 ounces of the jalapeno infused tequila and 1/2 ounce of mezcal. For this drink, I'm using San Cosme mezcal, which brings just the right amount of smokiness to balance out the spice. Pour in a spoonful of agave, and you could use agave not just to make tequila, but you could also use it as a substitute for sugar. So instead of using simple syrup, I will be using the agave, and it's probably healthier too. 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, add the ice, give it a good stir, and pour it into a rocks glass. For the garnish, I'd recommend a slice of jalapeno, but since we can't make it too obvious for the judges, I'll use a slice of pineapple and char that sucker.
So I got rosemary, but I'm not just gonna use rosemary, I'm also gonna use cinnamon because I think they'll pair really well together. So what I'm gonna do is use both of those ingredients and make yet another syrup. We're gonna use 1/2 cup of honey, 1/2 cup of water, 6 rosemary sprigs, and 3 cinnamon sticks. We're gonna put all that in the pan, let it boil, and then we're also gonna let it steep for 30 minutes afterwards, and you can refrigerate it for up to a week. So unlike my last drink, I don't want to use a rye whiskey because I feel like it could clash with the rosemary and create too much spice on spice. Instead, I can't think of anything better than a double oaked bourbon. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 2/3 of an ounce of our rosemary cinnamon syrup along with 3 dashes of our Angostura bitters directly in to an old-fashioned glass. My God, this smells like Christmas. So all we wanna do at this point is just swirl that around in the old-fashioned glass. Then we're gonna add 2 ounces of our double oaked bourbon. Add our ice cube. We're gonna take our nice little orange peel here, dump it in as a garnish. We're gonna give it a good stir. And there you go. We got our rosemary cinnamon old-fashioned.
For my second old fashioned, I'd like to introduce you guys to Burn Notice. Get ready to venture on the wild side with this herbal and spicy bad boy.
Woo! Okay.
It's giving hints of burn and a
It's
little bit of
giving-
notice.
This isn't spicier than the ginger one?
It's spicier in a better way.
Ginger was more of a burn on the tongue, and this is more of a heat in your throat.
Yes, I would give this garnish a 10 out of 10.
Drink feels kind of smoky to me. The pineapple's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
So what's the secret ingredient?
I'm gonna go with jalapeno.
That's jalapeno.
It's jalapeno.
So you guys are right. The secret ingredient is jalapeno.
Woo! We
got
did it!
But the interesting thing about this drink is that I didn't use any whiskey at all. I used a mezcal and a jalapeno infused tequila.
Okay.
So
The smoky there. You got the
That's
smoky in the mezcal.
smokiness is the
Yeah.
mezcal.
This next drink I call the Forest Fire. It's built on familiar flavors, but with a twist that leans a little more savory and smoky.
It's a familiar smell.
Yeah.
It's feeling herbal, like a basil or rosemary or.
Right. I like this one.
I do too.
I think I'm gonna try to go with the rosemary.
Okay.
I feel like I'm kind of getting what you're saying about the herbs.
This is in the category for me of I'd finish this drink if I ordered it.
Okay.
It's not a pass off.
All right, Brandon, you said rosemary, and you, sir, would be 100% correct.
Yeah!
I gave him that idea! Round 2. Eddie had jalapeno, Ryan had rosemary. Eddie did not win. Ryan won.
all right, this is my final spin. Let's see what I
That's a
get.
good one.
I do too.
Ooh,
Okay.
just snuck over there the last second.
So honestly, apple pie isn't as simple as it might seem because in order to get the flavors of an apple pie, you really have to invoke a lot of that apple in there. And cinnamon and nutmeg and these types of flavors. And it sometimes clashes a bit with the flavors of an old fashioned and the bitters. But I think I'm gonna pull this off.
Old fashions tend to be citrusy,
Right.
and then you're adding apple in now. That's gonna add a whole dimension to it. Come on, come on, come on.
Oh!
What?
You landed on cotton candy. So what are you gonna do? Because that could have really sweetened that drink.
This is gonna go one of two ways. They're either gonna love it, or they're gonna feed me to the lions or shoot me out of a cannon.
I already have some things percolating over here, so
All
let's
right.
get this done.
All right.
Apple pie flavors are hard to pinpoint when you include whiskey and bitters. So I have to make sure that this drink has all the right ingredients to taste like an apple pie and an old fashioned. I'm gonna use a good old fashioned apple pie moonshine for this cocktail, plus a rye whiskey, which tends to provide more baking spice flavors than bourbon. To really drive the point home, I'm gonna take about 1/4 of a cup of apple pie filling with 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup and another 1/4 of a cup of water to liquefy it a bit more. That'll be my version of the simple syrup used for this cocktail. I recommend adding a cinnamon stick for a few hours to really create that homemade apple pie flavor. In a mixing glass, I pour 1.5 ounces of apple pie moonshine, 1.5 ounces of apple pie moonshine, along with another 1.5 ounces of Old Overholt rye whiskey. Add in 4 dashes of Angostura bitters and 1/2 ounce of our tasty apple pie filling simple syrup. Stir that sucker up and pour it in a rocks glass. Garnish it with an orange peel and a cinnamon stick, and you're good to go. I'm naming this one Sweet Sin, and it'll taste like your drunk grandma's kitchen.
Well, the good thing about getting cotton candy is that it can double as our sugar. And since it tends to dissolve instantly, I won't even bother making a syrup out of it either. My only concern is that the flavor of cotton candy won't be strong enough to even tell it's there. Because the cotton candy is so delicate and so sweet, I've decided to pair it with a light-bodied wheated bourbon like this Larceny small batch here. Now, I don't know if I'm crafting a masterpiece here or sabotaging myself for this competition, but either way, cotton candy's in play, it's gonna get weird. We've got Angostura bitters here for the structure, Peychaud's for the brightness, and we've got orange to cut through the sugar. It's gonna be 3 dashes of each of the bitters. And then we're gonna put all of this in a chilled rocks glass, which we just pulled from the freezer. We got this pre-packaged cotton candy here, which got from a party favor. Drop it right in there. In here separately, we're gonna mix 2 ounces of our bourbon with a 1/2 ounce of triple sec orange liqueur. We're just gonna put a little bit of ice in here, just stir this around, and we are gonna gently pour this over the cotton candy. Now for this one, we're actually not gonna throw an ice cube in it at all because it was a chilled rocks glass that we pulled directly from the freezer. And we also mixed the bourbon and the triple sec with ice beforehand.
For my final drink, I'm calling this one the Sweet Sin. This old fashioned should put you on a journey, reminding you of simpler times, but with an adult spin.
I really like this.
Yeah, I mean, this is good.
Eddie, you're hitting it out of the park for me. It is.
It's holiday.
It is holiday.
I do get an apple pie, apple something going on in there.
I would give this my highest scoring.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it's good.
91.
It's a good Christmas drink. It almost could be warm. What are you saying?
Agree. I think
Apple pie.
Apple pie.
Apple pie.
So you guys were right. The secret ingredient of my final drink is apple pie.
Oh my gosh, we knew it.
All right, judges. For my final drink, I call this one the Carnival Noir. It plays off of something fun and nostalgic.
For some reason, when you said the name, you said Carnival Noir. I wanted to go.
Ryan, you really go out of the box with these things.
I still feel the burn in the back of my throat.
I like this drink, so this is kind
This is
of.
throwing you off.
You want to know why I think it burns so much and you like it is because
What
I
is
think it's the most like alcohol, like
It's not watered down.
it's not
at
watered
all.
down. The only thing that's differentiating between a straight shot and this drink is that pink and blue candy. I think it's cotton candy. You just hope there's a chaser in there.
I actually really like this drink. I think it tastes great. I like it when there's a minimalist or there's a small, like there's not a ton of stuff going on. And I really personally, I like this drink.
All right, well, this one appears to be a little bit controversial, but the secret ingredient itself is cotton candy. Yeah.
Who got that right? Round 3. Eddie had apple pie and Ryan had cotton candy. And Eddie won again. Congrats to Eddie. You win.
Great job, guys.
All right, man. We had some tricky ingredients tonight that we had to work with, but you beat me fair and square.
I sure did, Ryan. I am the old-fashioned champion of the world. Undisputed, baby.
I think we need a belt. I gotta say though, I think the red wine for me was the most surprising and probably my favorite of the night.
The rosemary also, I thought, was phenomenal. I did not expect rosemary to go so well in an old-fashioned, and it sure did, and you could really tell it was there. So kudos to you on that too. We want you guys to try making them at home and let us know what you think about them.
And also, when we do this again, let us know what your secret ingredients will be and we'll add that to the wheel next time.
In the meantime, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let them know that we're trying to build a community of whiskey lovers and old-fashioned lovers.
Until next time, like always,
Cheers.